Yo, check out what I got on the screen today. Look, I wanted to know what's up with the journey, right? So then I typed in the word journey, right? And then look at what the images of DuckDuckGo popped up with, right? Look at this, right? You got a road right here. There's 3 roads right there, right? Then you got, this is the band, I guess. Right, you got the band Journey, Journey. Look at them, they're all over here, right? So I guess if you see, I like that one right there. Look at that, the road, join the journey, right? But then when you look at it, it's just basically when you do a search online, using the DuckDuckGo, and you want to know what journey is, right? Like, show me an image of journey. You're going to get a band, man. That's just kind of funny, right? But whatever, this is what's going to go on right now because I want to focus on the word journey, right? So check this out. This one's out for God's people right here. Yo, what's going on, God's people? This one's for you, okay? We're going to show you some words, and hopefully these words are gonna let you go on some more journeys, man. All right, so check this out. We're gonna show you some order, some words and things like that, right? Always remember Proverbs 1:7. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, right? And then always remember, fear means try. Fear means risk, right? So you always want to try and you always want to risk the Lord, right? That's when you get the knowledge, right? But always remember, fools despise wisdom and instruction, right? So if you try to help out another man or another woman and you try to show them what's up with the words and things like that, and they don't want to hear you and they don't want to listen, then you know what they are. They're sitting in the fool category right there, man. Okay, it's really easy now. All right, so check this out. Let's go with Genesis 1:1, right? So whenever you want to know how was everything created, right? Because that was me when I was a young dude. I wanted to know, like, how was everything created? And if someone would have told me in the beginning God created the heaven and the earth, then I would have been cool. I would have been cool. I was like, oh, okay, cool. God created it all. Got it good. All right, now let's move on to the next bit right there, because once you know God created everything, right, and then everything else underneath that is just process and procedure, then you're going to be fine, man. Okay, scary simple, right? So remember, God's people, we have a duty and we have an obligation to protect, right? And protect means to cover, right? Forward cover, right? So we're always covering something, right? Because we want to cover it from danger. We want to cover it from harm. We want to cover it from damage, and we want to cover it from trespass, right? There's some other words in there, but those are the ones we like focusing on, right? Because we must protect God's property, right? God's property is God's kingdom, okay? So let me show you what God's realm looks like, right? So we always start off with this right here, right? This order of God's realm is our timeout. This lets everyone know where we are, what are the boundaries and things like that. Remember, order. God created the world, check. God created man, aka the people, check. People created states, check. People created constitutions, check. People created governments, check. Question. When did government become boss of the people? Okay, so let's go ahead and try to answer that one in this one. All right, so check this out. Right, we always want to start off with the great laws maxim, and then we're right here. We're stuck on 11. Right, we're stuck on 11 because it's about authority, it's about power, it's about servant, it's about jurisdiction. And 11a is what we focus on because we want to show a delegated power cannot be again delegated. Remember that, okay? A deputy cannot have or appoint a deputy, right? Remember that, right? So when God gave man power, right, we cannot then again delegate that power to someone else to administer God's kingdom, right? So I have to take care of my body, right? Because that's what God said to do. He said, I'm giving you one body, man, right? And you got to take care of it, right? And I'm like, oh, okay, God, I'll do that, now that I know, right? But, here's a thing where you want to see how power can be delegated, right? And then you just mess everything up, right? So when you go and then you say, hey, doctor, take care of my body, that doctor, you cannot delegate that power to that doctor because they don't have that ability and they don't have that authority. They do have the skill set to maybe fix you in certain ways, right? But you cannot give them the power to make you whole, right? They can never do that. And that's what healthcare means. Healthcare means make you one, make you whole, right? So you have to do that on your own, man, right? So what you have to do, you always have to remember, you got to do the work, man. You can't outsource what God told you to do to someone else, man. Scary, simple service, right? Okay, so check this out. Guardian. Here's another one we're always focused on, right? Guardian, right? And then we're focused on 53C. If a guardian do fraud to his ward, right? So that means if a guardian cheats his ward, he shall be, and cheat means to take away, he shall be removed from his guardianship, right? So if a guardian takes something from his ward, right, then he's going to be removed from his guardianship. He loses that ability. He loses that power, right? Because that's just how it goes, man. So let's keep it going, right? So we're getting ready to travel through Plato's cave, man. We're going to have a journey through Plato's cave, and we're going to show you some words, man, because hopefully after we show you these words, we're going to bring you to the light, man. That's all we like to do. We just like to show people the light, man. Scary simple, right? And then the way that we like to do that is with the grand jury. Okay, so let me click on this one, right? Because this is the morning session grand jury. Look at them. They're all bright and cheery. They're like, we're ready to go. Let's go ahead and knock this one out, buddy. I'm like, yeah, grand jury, let's do this one, man. Because we had you guys going yesterday. You guys looked tired yesterday. All right, so remember, grand jury always has a function, right? And what the grand jury does is it investigates the operations of the various officers, departments, and agencies of local government, right? So every man, every woman, all people, we have a duty and we have an obligation to investigate how our governments are operating, right? And if they're not operating how we set them up, then that's a problem. And then now what we do is we show you the words so we can fix it, okay? Scary, simple service, right? So what we look for always is right here, right? We're always looking for maladministration, scary, simple, right? Because my man David Jose showed me this word, right? And then now once I found this word from David Jose, that's all I look for, right? It's easy, right? Because when you have a maladminister, a bad small master, right? A bad servant, right? So if you have a bad servant who's not managing the affairs of the people properly, then you always get them on maladministration, and you got to go put them on timeout, man. They're really like our children, so all of our public servants are like children of the people because we are their creators. Remember that, right? All people created all jurisdictions for all public servants to operate in. Scary simple, right? All right, so what we look for is treason, right? So if our small masters are being bad, and in the way we can see that is if they hand over our trust, right? So if we give them a trust and we say, hey, this is all you can do, man, you can't do anything else but this, right? And they hand that over to someone else, we're saying, bro, that's treason, right? You've just betrayed the trust, right? You've just betrayed the faith of we the people, right? You've just handed over our credit to someone else, man. And then we'll get you every time on treason because it's real easy, right? Because we will know you by your words now. Scary simple, right? Right. Another thing we always look for is war, right? And I'm gonna highlight this bit right here because we always look for people who are causing confusion, for people who are trying to mix up things. And in the way that they mix up things are with the words, man. So if you mix the words up and then you call things no longer what they're supposed to be called, like if you no longer call a man, if you no longer call a woman, you no longer call the people, and you call them something else, right? That's called war, right? That means you're causing confusion. That means that you're breaching the faith, right? You're breaking the trust up, right? You're causing confusion. You're handing over the trust of we the people by causing confusion, man. It's really easy now, right? War doesn't mean the big pew-pews and the bombs and stuff like that. It does, but it doesn't. It's really easier because everybody's in confusion. Everybody's all mixed up, man. And we're here to put you in order now, man. And the way we do that is by showing you the words. Okay, so here we go. Right, so we're in California Constitution right now, right? And then we're in the preamble. So before we walk, right? So before we walk, we always have to show who is in charge, right? And then this is what we do because we wrote the constitutions. Remember, we the people of the state of California, grateful to Almighty God. Yeah, what's up, God? Thanks for the shine. For our freedom, in order to secure and perpetuate its blessings, do establish this constitution, right? So the people created this constitutions, right? Because, we got our ability from God, right? And that's just what we're letting you know, right? So all of our public servants, all of our corporations, they work under this jurisdiction right here called the Constitution, right? Let's keep it moving, right? So here we are in Article 1, California Constitution, Section 1. we're just going to keep it simple, right? This is the Declaration of Rights, right? Section 1 says all people are by nature free and independent and have inalienable rights, right? So every time when you see by nature, that means by God free, right? So all people, all man, all woman, all child are by God free and independent, right? We're set apart. We're separate, right? We don't fall under the jurisdiction of the constitutions because we are the creators of the constitutions, okay? Remember that, right? So check this out. Here goes Article 1, California Constitution, Section 18, right? And this one says treason. Remember, if someone's handing over our trust against the state meaning we the people, consists only in levying war meaning confusion against it, right? So if you confuse the people, if you hand over the trust of the people to someone else, like an enemy, or giving the enemy aid and comfort, that's called treason. That's called war. That's called handing over. That's called bringing confusion, right? It's really easy. Once you know what these words are, now you're going to be able to control our public servants, man. It's really easy now, right? We're going to have fun now, right? That's what we're doing now because God showed us the words, man. And now once we know what the words are, now we're going to hold you to the words, public servants. Remember that, okay? All right, so check this out. Whoa, knocked that one over. Right, that was my hand. Okay, so here we go. The three branches of the U.S. government. We like this image because this image is a perfect illustration of how everything works, right? So you can just remove Constitution and then you can put God right there, right? And then you can remove all of the legislative, executive, and judicial, and you could put man, woman, child right there, right? And then that's going to be the same. But remember, this is how the world is set up, right? God set up the world, and then the people set up the world to reflect what God told us to do, right? So remember, God sits up here, the people sit up here because the people create the constitutions, right? So God created the people, and then the people created the constitutions, and then the constitutions created all of our governments, right? Which created all the jurisdictions where all the corporations and all the other things can work in, right? Remember that, right? That's the order. That's the order of this realm. And once you get this in your head, right, you're going to be free. Once you realize that the people are the bosses of all constitutions, therefore the people are the bosses of all the lawmakers, the people are the bosses of all executives, the people are the bosses of all judges, which by default makes the people the bosses of all the little entities that fall underneath them, right? Remember that, right? Once you realize you as the people are boss, you're going to be free. And who gave you that power? God did, man. Okay, remember that. All right, so here we go. Now we're going to get into some words, man. Right, we want to focus on these words right now because, we want the people to understand what journey means, right? So first we started off with travel, right? Because travel means to journey, right? And then travel takes you to travail, right? But then originally travel meant to toil. Travel meant labor, right? That's work, right? So when you're traveling, you're like working and stuff like that. So then we were like, well, what does journey mean, right? We were like, what does journey mean, right? To make a journey. So then we went and then we clicked on journey, right? And then journey means, check this out, to shine. Remember that. See, I love these words because the words are always either taking me back to light or shine, right? Light or shine. I'm always getting back to light or shine. And then that's when I know, all right, I hit that God level right there because, God's all about the shine, right? Once you have that shine, you can see, right? So here you go from journey. Journey will take you to shine. And then once you get to shine, you're done, man. So no one can stop your shine. No one can stop your journey, right? Because if they try to stop your shine and they try to stop your journey, they're breaking God's rules, man. Remember that. Scary simple. Okay, so check this out. Drive, right? We like drive because drive is real easy. Drive just means right here. See that? Right? Push. Right? So when you push something, you drive something. You see how the word means the same, right? And that's just what that word means. So when you're driving, that means you're pushing, right? And you can do a whole lot of pushing all over the place, man. It's just not about the car that you're in, or the vessel that you're in. Like I push my body. I push my body because that's just what I do. I push words because that's what I like to do, right? That's just what I do. I push my dogs because my dogs like to go too, right? It's really easy once you understand what these words mean. That's an action word. That means something that you're doing, man, okay? Let's keep it going. Automobile. Another two-word word, right? Remember, auto for self, Mobile meaning movable. Oh no, what does that really mean? Okay, so let's click on auto. Auto, right? When you trail it down, see, self, one's own, of oneself, right? You're done, right? Once you get down to one and oneself, you've hit peak, man. You're at the top, right? So now once you know auto means one, you're good, man. One's own, oneself, that's it. You're done. Now let's check out mobile, right? Mobile means to push away. Looks like drive, so mobile and drive mean the same, right? So when you drive, that means you're mobile. When you're mobile, that means you're drive, okay? Remember that. Scary simple. All right, let's go. Motor. Right, here goes another one. Motor, another one. Scary simple. To push away. What? Okay, so when you look at mobile means to push away. When you look at motor means to push away. And then when you look at where it is, drive means to push, right? So I hope you're starting to see the pattern in all these words, man. Once you recognize the pattern, right, and then they're always trying to trick you with the tweaks of the words, you're going to be good, man. So once you get these words down, you're going to be free. Remember that. All right, so check out vehicle, right? Vehicle's another one. Look at when you trail it down right here, vehere, right? To bear, carry, convey. What? Okay. To go, move. Oh, you're done, right? To go, move, right? So vehicles are another thing that move, right? Example, my body is God's vehicle, right? Because in my body, where the spirit lives, right? And then where God lives, right? And then where my man Christ lives, right? I am their vehicle, so I drive them around. I move them around. So when I'm walking around the realm where I'm taking them places and through my eyes, right, I'm showing them, I'm like, yo, check that out, God. And he's like, yo, that's dope, right? And I'm like, yo, check that out, Christ. And he's like, oh man, that's cool, right? I get to drive them around in the vehicle called my body. My body is my vehicle, right? My body is my automobile, right? Once you understand that, you're going to be free, okay? You're going to be free. It's really easy, man. It's not, the words that they keep telling us are really not what they are. Once you find out what the words are, and once you know who you are, you're going to be free, man. Really, honestly. Okay, so check this out. Tax, we like this one too because everybody's like, you gotta pay your taxes, right? The tax man's coming. And then I'm like, no way, man. Look, because, I'm like, why are you guys always trying to touch me? I'm like, you guys are a little creepy. The tax man's always trying to touch me because he's like, give me some taxes. And I'm like, no, you can't touch me. This is my body, my choice. I don't let you touch me, man, unless you take me out to dinner. Right? So we just have fun with the tax man now, because we know that they can't do what they can do, right? Because they can't touch us unless we give them permission to touch us, right? And most people give them permission because they don't understand the words, right? So every time the tax man comes around, the people all run like, oh no, here comes the tax man, right? They're like, here, take everything. And then they're just touching you all over the place and they're touching your books and then they're just trying to see what's up with you. And then I'm just like, you guys are kind of creepy, man. So that's why sometimes the tax man, they just don't really, it's like the tax man and in the tax industry, I'm like, I don't really like you, right? Because you guys aren't honest, right? You're just trying to touch me. You just want to handle me, right? You want to handle my property and I don't like that, right? So now I'm showing the people what's up with the words, right? Because once they see the words and then they're going to be like, do you like to be touched, right? Do you like how they touch you? Do they make you feel good when they touch you? That's right. I'm not happy, so if I'm not happy when the tax man tries to touch me, then we're going to call that treason, okay? I'm not giving away something and you can't make me give away something that you don't have authority to take. Remember that, okay? All right, so let's keep it going. The word, man, we love the word. Hi, God. Thanks for the shine. We love you. Okay, so the word is speak, right? The word is say, right? Another thing that you cannot see because it comes from within, right? So what you see in your mind's eye and then you say it out loud, then it becomes speech, right? Then it becomes talk, right? Then it becomes something that other people can hear and then other people can track you, right? They can hear what you say, right? They can see what you say. And then from that, they can actually make sense of what it is that you're trying to do, right? This is how we communicate, man. This is how we understand what things are, right? If we don't have the word, then we can't understand each other, man. And if people try to confuse the word, right, meaning if they try to cause war with the word by calling things what they're not, right, then that means that you're bringing confusion, right? That means you're bringing war, right? That means you're handing over something to someone else, right? We call that treason. We call that war. Remember that. We focus on those words right there. Treason and war, right? Maladministration, right? So if we have our public servants, confusing the words, we're going to say, hey, man, are you bringing war to the people? Hey, man, are you trying to cause treason with us, the people? Right? Are you doing these things? Because if you don't use the words and the words that you define don't mean what they're supposed to mean, and we correct you on that, then we're going to hold you up, man. We're going to put you in timeout because we're going to say, bad small master, go in timeout. You're not doing your job properly. Okay? All right. So here we go. Here's another way that, the small masters, our servants, try to trick people, right? They try to subvert, right? Subvert, another two-word word, means, to turn. Vert, whenever you see vert, it means turn, bend, right? And then sub means from up under, right? So if they come up underneath and then they try to turn you and they try to flip you, right? Look, see that overthrow, right? So if they try to take things away from you by changing the words and the meanings of things, we call that subvert, right? And that is also another form of war. That is also another form of treason, right? You can't do that, right? So if you try to turn us from other things, so if you try to turn us from God, right, we call that subversion, right? Simple, right? Don't turn us from God, right? We know who we are. We know what we are, right? We are the people, right? And the people are boss, and the people get their power and their authority from God, right? Because God told us, right? God said, you're a boss. You got dominion over all. All right. And we were like, okay, God, we got it good now. Right. And then when we go ahead and then when we give our public servants jobs, right, and we say, hey, public servant, go manage our business for us, man, because we want to go around and we want to play. We want to have fun. We want to go on journeys. We want to travel. And we want to do all these amazing things. And then our public servants make up rules, right, that try to bind the people, because now they call the people no longer people, but they call the people citizens, right? They call the people something else, right? So if you call the people something else, that means you're subverting the authority over God's kingdom, man. And you can't do that now, right? Because we're going to correct you on that really easy now, right? All right, so check this out. So I was building with those words, right? So you can see motor, vehicle, revenues, right? So push, tax, right? Revenue is tax and things like that. Here, I'll show you. Let's show you what revenue is, right? Let's show you what revenue is, because we should pull that. Revenue, right? See, revenue, right? So we'll scroll back over here, right? Boom, now we're in order. So revenue, right? To come again, right? Return back, right? What are you trying to return back, right? What is it? See, they call it income, right? Income, to come. Come just meaning here. Let's just find come too, right? Because we have to show you the words, right? Because when you see the words, it's very much more easy, right? It's much more easy. So then when you see come, right? So now we got come, to go, right? To go, to come. It's just movement, man. So they're trying to get some movement coming from the people right here, right? So you got push, right? What are you trying to push, right? What are you trying to get back, right? You're always trying to push things and you're trying to get things back from us, right? So if you see text of section 1, right, we don't even have to read this one, right? So just know that this is what we would call maladministration. This is what we call treason, right? Because they're trying to touch the people's private property, right? So when you try to touch the people's private property by tricking them with the words and saying motor vehicle revenues, right, you're trying to get something from the motor vehicle, right? The motor vehicle is we the people, right? Because we the people are the vessels that God lives in, right? We the people are the engines that make things go, right? We the people are. So now you're trying to get something from that, right? You're trying to get us to return something back to you, right? Why are you trying to do this, right? Look at this. The legislature shall not borrow revenue from the highway user tax account or its successors, and shall not use the revenues for purposes or in ways other than those specifically permitted by this article. See, this is a lot of blah, 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 right? When you start to look at when this was approved, and you see in 2010, right, they were doing a lot of tricking right here, man. So now we know that someone changed our Constitution. Someone changed our Constitution that we originally had, because you're not supposed to do this, right? This is a no-no, public public servant, right? And we're going to show you how it's a no-no, right? You can't do this, okay? So here, check this out, right? So we're in Infogalactic right now. We want to show you what freedom of movement is, right? Keyword, freedom of movement, right? You can just go here and look it up, but look at this right here. The right of individuals to travel from place to place is what freedom of movement is, right? So we the people, we can go wherever we wish, man. If we wish to go here, if we wish to go there, we can travel wherever we want to go, right? In any territory of any country, man. If we know what the rules are, and we want to know what the rules are that God told us, right? Because if we're one of God's people, right? If we're one of God's servants, you can't stop us from going anywhere, man. We even wrote it in our constitutions, right? Such a right is provided in the constitutions of numerous states, man. Remember that, right? For example, look at this. Even in Article 13 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, right? They even said it too. A citizen of a state in which that citizen is present has the liberty to travel. That means you're free to travel, right? You can go to and from wherever it is that you wish to go. Okay, let's keep it moving. Hi, California Department of Motor Vehicles. We like you. You're fun. You've been sneaking and tricking a lot of people for a very long time, right? So check out what the California Department of Motor Vehicles is supposed to do. It regulates new car dealers. Oh, new car dealers. So you regulate new car dealers through the new Motor Vehicle Board. Oh, that's a board. I wonder who created that board, right? Commercial cargo carriers. So you regulate commercial cargo carriers, and you regulate private driving schools, and you regulate private traffic schools. Interesting. So why is it that all men and all women in California, once they get their vehicles, why do they have to go and register their vehicles? Are you in commercial? Are you in commerce, right? Are you a private driving school, right? Are you a private traffic school? These are some of the questions you need to ask the Motor Vehicle Board now, right? So ask the Motor Vehicle Board, hey, Mr. Motor Vehicle Board, do I have to do this as one of the people? Because if I'm not in commercial cargo, if I'm not a commercial cargo carrier, do I have to have a driver's license? Do I have to register my vehicle? If I'm not a private driving school, do I have to have a driver's license? Do I have to register my vehicle? If I'm not a private traffic school, do I have to have a driver's license? Do I have to register my vehicle? These are the questions now that all the people in California can ask the new Motor Vehicle Board. And we'll just ask them now. We'll send them notice. We'll send them affidavit. And then we're going to see what's up with them, man. We're going to see who has the power, okay? Hi, DMV. We're going to have fun with you. See you in the future. All right, so check this out, right? So the reason why we have this right here is because this right here, when we wanted to know where the Department of Motor Vehicles came from, right? Let me scroll down. I got to find it. See the history, right? In 1901, blah, 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 right? From 1905 to 1913, the California Secretary of State, that's a public servant, right? Delegated power. You have no power over we the people, was authorized to implement a uniform statewide registration and licensing system for motor vehicles. Oh, okay, so this is for all commercial vehicles, right? So if you're in commercial, if you're in commerce, if you're any of those things up there that we just read, then that means this is what you have to do, right? So then in 1913, the Department of Engineering, right, then it becomes Caltrans, became responsible for registration. And then the California State Treasurer became the custodian of the vehicle records, right? So the California State Treasurer, we're going to have fun with you too, right? We're going to come talk to you too through notice, through affidavit, right? But if you look right here we go, right? The first Department of Motor Vehicles was established by the Vehicle Act of 1915. That's all we need to know. So now we're going to go and we're going to look at the Vehicle Act of 1915, right? Because we're going to go there and we're going to see what's up, okay? So here goes the Vehicle Act of 1915, right? We Googled this one. It was hard to find because, they just didn't have it up. They didn't have it up, right? So check out what it says, right? Gift, October 221915, fun, right? Read these words. An act to regulate the use and operations of vehicles upon the public highways and elsewhere. Remember that, right? This is only for commercial vehicles. to provide for the registration and identification of motor vehicles and for the payment of registration fees thereof. Remember that, okay? To provide for the licensing of persons operating motor vehicles, right? So if you're in commerce, if you are in the commercial, if you are a cargo carrier, a commercial cargo carrier, a private driving school, a traffic school, or anything like that, right? Then you have to do this stuff, man. It's scary simple, okay? So check this out, right? So this was in this book, this was like page 1, right? And then we had to take another one right here. So here goes 2, right? And then 2 says words and phrases defined, right? You know, and then they'll show you like, look at business district shall mean the territory of any county or incorporated city and county, city, or town contiguous to a public highway which is on the line, you know, blah, blah, blah. You see this? So see how they try to always add all these words for business district, you know? So this is just wherever you are and you're hanging out, right? You know, so that was page 2, right? So this is where we're coming at right here. So we're on page 3, right? You know, we still have words and phrases defined. You can keep reading it, right? Oh, look at this one. Person. Person shall include any corporation, association, co-partnership, company, firm, or other aggregation of individuals. Aggregation of individuals means a collective thing of, you know, persons. That's a bunch of masks, man. You know, that doesn't mean man, that doesn't mean woman, that doesn't mean the people. Remember that, okay? Let's keep it moving, right? Look at what they try to say with vehicle. Vehicle shall include every wagon, hack, coach, carriage, omnibus, push cart, bicycle. They got it all, man, right here. But check this out right here. Look at section 2. Right, you know, exempt from the tax, right? You're going to have fun with this one, man, because this is going to set you people in California free, man. All right, so check this out. All motor vehicles owned and used in the transaction of official business by the representatives of foreign powers or by officers, boards, or departments of the government of the United States are exempt. And all motor vehicles owned by and used in the operative work of such corporations as are taxed solely for state purposes under the provisions of the Constitution of this state, and such self-propelling vehicles as are used neither for the conveyance of persons for hire, pleasure, or business, nor for the transportation of freight are hereby exempted from the payment of the fees in this act prescribed, right? You know, so now you know. Now you know right here. Here, let's highlight this, man. You know, let's highlight this. Right, where was it? Yeah. Neither for the conveyance of persons for hire, pleasure, or business, right? You know, so if you're just moving around in your vehicle, right, and then you're just having fun doing you, right, you're not in any of these things, right, you're exempt, right? You're exempt from this tax. Remember that, okay? You know, so this right here, if you go to this article, you know, not the article, but if you go to the Vehicle Act of 1915 and then you go and you looked and see who's exempt from the tax, right, I'm pretty sure you're going to find the people are in here, right? You know, they don't say people per se, right, you know, but if you're a persons, you know, if you're one of those persons, you know, and you're doing it for pleasure, you know, or business, nor for the transportation of freight are hereby exempted, right, you're exempt from this tax, man. So, you know, you can say bye-bye to the DMV and you can say bye-bye to, you know, you having to pay those taxes every year, right? Remember that, because I'm going to let you free with these words, man. You know, so you go ahead and you take these words, you go ahead and you search these words, and then you go ahead and you go talk to your public servants, and then you ask them, hey, Mr. Public Servant, do I have to pay this tax right here? Because according to this right here, it says that I don't. But you keep charging me every year. You keep sending me mail, and then you keep asking me to send you money. Are you trying to trick me with the words public servant? Just ask them that and then see what they say. I bet you're going to have a bunch of fun. Okay? All right, so let's keep it moving. Right, so we were in here right here because we wanted this. You know, right, look at, we got this article, but we downloaded it, right? The U.S. Supreme Court says no license necessary to drive automobiles on public roads. What? Okay, so this one was posted by Jeff, right, in July 21-2015, right? Look at the image of our public servants right there, right? They just look all serious, like, oh man, another picture. Come on, man. All right, so check this out, right? We're going to read some words, right? U.S. Supreme Court and other high court citations proving that no license is necessary for normal use of an automobile on common ways, right? So that means that you're free to travel. That means you're free to go on your journeys, man. That means that you don't need a driver's license, right? You do not need that, right? So now we're going to have a problem with all of these companies out there that rent vehicles, that rent automobiles to people, because we were doing a search and we were finding out that they won't rent to you unless you have a license, right? So which means that they're discriminating against us, right? They're discriminating against God's people, because God's people, we don't need a license to drive, man. It's so fun, right? Okay, so check this out. Let's just read. Oh, no, we'll scroll down right here. So here goes a case, right? You can go look this case up if you wish, right? Thompson v. Smith, 154 SC 57911, American Jurisprudence, Constitutional Law, Section 329, page 113. What? Okay, so you can go there, right? But check out these words. The right of the citizen to travel upon the public highways and to transport his property thereon in the ordinary course of life and business is a common right which he has under the right to enjoy life and liberty, to acquire and possess property, and to pursue happiness and safety. Okay, remember that. Those are in our Declaration of Rights, right? So you are free to move. You are free to move in whatever vehicle it is that you wish to move in, right? You do not have to have a driver's license in order for you to push and move yourself around, right? It includes the right in so doing to use the ordinary and usual conveyance of the day, right? So whatever way that we're traveling now, right? If it's by land, if it's by air, if it's by sea, right? You have a right to travel in that way, man. No man who is one of our public servants can stop us, right? None of our public servants can stop us from traveling, man. Just remember that. And under the existing modes of travel includes the right to drive a horse-drawn carriage or wagon thereon, or to operate an automobile thereon for the usual and ordinary purpose of life and business, man. So there's a bunch of other cases in here that they cite, but we just wanted to show you the words right there, man. I mean, you're free to travel. You can travel and you can go on your journeys all day long, because look, even the Supreme Court says no license is necessary, right? So when people look at you crazy because they're fools, right? Because you're trying to show them knowledge, right? And they're like, what are you talking about, right? So you got a bunch of corporations out there that we know they are fools, right? They are fools because they lack wisdom, they lack knowledge, right? And we try to show them the wisdom and we try to show them the knowledge, and then they look at us crazy. They're like, I don't think you could do that, right? So we have these people right here, right? So remember that, right? Corporations have workers in here, and the workers are all sitting up under here, right? And then when you go and you talk to like an agent who's an agent of a corporation, and you're like, I want to rent a car. And then they're like, give me your license, right? And you're like, I don't need a license. And they're like, yes, you do, because we can't rent to you. And you're like, I don't think you could do that, right? And then they're like, we have to. It's company policy, right? And you're like, no way, man. They're like, it's the law of the land. I'm like, no way, man, it's not, right? And then when they keep pressing you, and I'm like, I think you guys are discriminating against me, right? And then they're like, what? Right? That's because we sit up here, right? We, the people, are up here. We wrote the constitutions that allow all the corporations to do business in the states that we let them be in, man. Remember that, okay? So check this out. Let's go to another case, right? Hi, Justia. Thanks for hanging out. Right, so here goes the United States v. Guest 383 US 7451966. Right, you can Google it. You can check it out. Right, but look at the highlight we have right here. 3 Section 241 reaches conspiracies specifically directed against the exercise of the constitutional right to travel freely from state to state and to use the highways and other instrumentalities of that purpose. Right, so this is what they were doing, right? So every time someone tells you that you have to have a driver's license, you have to have your car registered, that is a conspiracy against your constitutional right, right? Because every man, every woman, you have the right to travel freely from state to state, right? Wherever it is that you need to go, right? So check it out. It says it even up here. Look at the primary holding. If a state participates at all in a conspiracy, that means breed together, it has violated the 14th Amendment with regard to any individual whose rights are infringed based on the constitutional right to travel, right? So here's a case. It's telling you what's up, man. You can travel freely. It is guaranteed even in our constitutions, right? Because God gave us dominion over the whole realm, and that we the people also say that we're free to travel, we're free to be whatever it is that we wish to be, as long as we don't harm man, as long as we don't harm woman, as long as we don't harm child, as long as we don't harm the people, we are free to do what we want, right? Remember that, right? And then we've guaranteed that under the constitutions, which the constitutions are where our public servants work under, man. Remember that, right? So when the police pull you over and then they say license and registration, it's time for you to dress them down, man. It's time for you to dress them down, and you're going to have to instruct them, and you're going to have to educate them, man, which means that you're going to have some paperwork, right? You're going to have some paperwork, because there is a lot of fools out there. There are a lot of fools out there. Remember that, right? Remember that. Where is it? Is it over here? Right here. Fools despise wisdom and instruction, right? But when you try to show them, knowledge, right? Because when you try to show them knowledge, they're going to not like it. They're going to despise it, right? Because they're going to be like, I wasn't taught that, right? My leaders didn't teach me that. That's not in our instruction manual. Then you're dealing with a fool, right? And once you know you're dealing with a fool, you gotta, sort of kind of be kind with them, because they're not that smart, right? Because they've been taught something differently, man. They've been having their minds filled up with different words, right? They don't have the knowledge because they don't fear the Lord, right? They may claim that they do, but if they did, then they would know what's up, right? But because they don't, and they lack knowledge, and then they say license and registration, or you can't travel unless you have a driver's license, you're dealing with the fool, man. But, we're going to help them out, because we're going to show them the words, man. So we showed them the words right here. It's a court case, right? We showed them the words right here. Where is it? Right here, right? The Vehicle Act, right? The Vehicle Act right here. Boom, it says you're exempt from the tax, right? Right here. And then we show you even right here where the Supreme Court, what the fools call these are the fools leaders, right? So the fools call their public servants leaders, right? So their leaders say, hey man, it's not necessary. You don't need a license to drive an automobile on the public highways, right? Which means that you don't need a license to do a lot of things, right? Remember that, right? You don't need to show someone your license to rent a room out or do anything like that, right? So we've been noticing that they've been tricking a lot of people. They've been confusing a lot of people with the words, man. And now we're here to correct them on that, right? So ready, here we go. We always like to show author now, right? Because author means to increase, right? One who causes to grow, right? Remember, my author is God. My father is God. My creator is God, right? Remember that. God caused me to grow. God created me, right? And then now that's all I know, right? And now I try to show the people who the Father is and who the Creator is. Who is the author? Scary simple, right? Here's another one. I try to show the people what the power is, right? Power means Lord, right? When you go to power, poti, Lord, right? Power means ability. Power means ability to act or do something, right? So who gives you the ability to do it? It's called the Lord, right? My Lord is Christ. My Lord is God. Scary simple, right? Check out Lord. We're going to show you what Lord means, right? My Lord, my keeper, my guardian is God. My keeper, my guardian is Christ, right? It's scary simple. The master of my household is God. The master of my household is Christ. Done, right? Done, right? You got it? Okay, cool. So check this out, right? We always want to show you the JotForm, right? Because the JotForm's always in the description, right? Click on that description and click on this link right here and fill out this JotForm and send it to your public servant, man, because we're trying to let them know what's up, right? But remember these words right here. Shout out to Leanne. Leanne created these, right? Congress has no authority to interfere in the people's inherent right to bear arms for their protection according to their condition, man. Remember that, right? So Congress, you have no authority to tell the people what they can and can't do with their arms, man. Remember that, right? So now we send you notice, right? We send you notice and demand to cease and desist from attacking the people's right to protect themselves and states. Remember that, right? Because we, as one of the people, as seen in the 50 state constitutions, sui juris of oneself, do present you with this notice that you and your agents may provide due care, man. So we're sending you knowledge. We're always sending you knowledge, man. And in that knowledge, we got it all right here for you to see. Remember that, okay? We the people are our public servants' bosses, okay? Remember that. Also, check this out. Liberty Dollar. Shout out to David Jose, right? Click on this link right here, right? Get your money in this private financial association, man, because the Federal Reserve note, is a different jurisdiction, right? The US dollar is also a different jurisdiction. And what's happening right now is our public servants are writing up little rules and words to trick the people, and then they're going to try to bind you, right? They're going to try to bind the people, and they're going to try to say, if you don't follow our rules, then we're going to cut off your money, right? And then that's going to hurt a lot of people. This is why we're trying to get you to come over to Liberty Dollar, man. All right, so I'm done with that bit. So we're going to go in our repetition, right? Hey, what's up? Matthew 6:24. Remember, no man can serve two masters. Remember, you cannot serve God and you cannot serve Mammon. You have to choose, right? You have to choose who your master is, and you have to choose. Is it going to be the riches and the gain? Not for me. Or is it going to be God? Yep, that's the one I choose. So I choose to serve God. I don't choose to serve the riches. I don't choose to serve the gain, man. So no way. So we will know you by your words, man. You know, we will know you who you serve, right? Scary simple, right? Remember this right here. If you're one of the people and you want to know who created me, where did I come from? Why do I look the way do I look? Right? It's because God said so. God made us in our image, right? So God said, let us make man in our image, right? After our likeness. Done, right? We're done, right? You know, and then he said, let them have dominion over everything, right? Done, right? So when you know that every man, every woman, every child, all people, you are created in the image of God, you should be done. There should be no more arguing. There should be no more anything. You guys should just know that, hey, when you guys look in the mirror and you're like, I got two eyes, I got a nose, I got a mouth, I got ears, I got all of this stuff. I'm created in the image of God. You guys are the same, man. Remember that. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God created he, him. Male and female created he, them. Remember that. So every man, every woman, every child, you were created in the image of God. Done, right? Remember that. You guys are all my brothers and you guys are all my sisters. I don't care where you come from. Just remember that you're my brother, you're my sister, and I love you. And I'm going to show you love because I'm going to always show you the word, okay? Check this out. Psalm 82:6. Remember this. I have said, when you see I have said, that's big G now talking to little g, right? Little g, look at what big G is saying to little g. I have said, ye are gods, little g's, right? And all of you are children of the Most High. Remember that. Every man, every woman, every child, all the people, we are all children of the Most High. Done. Okay, so you can come from whatever tribe you come from. You can have whatever skin color you have, right? You can come from whatever region that you come from, whatever nation you want to call it. I know that you are all little G's, right? And I know that you all are children of the Most High. Even if you don't know it because you're battling that, you know, those little voices in your head that are trying to divide you, man. You know, we're just trying to show you the word. And once you know that you come from the Most High and you're a child of the Most High and you're a little G, you're going to have some really fun powers, man, right? And we're going to be able to create a beautiful world, okay? All right, so check this out. Let's close it out. John 1:1, we love you, bro. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. Done, right? We just showed you a bunch of words, right? Those are all the words that we showed you, and then hopefully those words are going to set you free, right? You know, now you know what journey means. Journey means to shine, right? You know, and we want to give you your shine back, okay? All right, so check this out. We're going to close it out. This is our time out, so we know that we're done. Order. God created the world. Check. God created man, aka the people. Check. People created states. Check. People created constitutions. Check. People created governments. Check. Question. When did government become boss of the people? Answer. Never. Ever. God is the boss of all people. Remember that. You know, God is the boss of every man. God is the boss of every woman. God is the boss of every child, right? And once you realize that, you know, our bodies are God's property, right? And we have to administer and we have to protect God's property, then you're going to be cool. Then you're going to be free. When you know that we're all brothers, we're all sisters, we're all the same, right? We all came down here for an experience to have fun and to shine, right? Because we all have to go on our own journey, right? Then you're going to be cool, man. All right. You know, so look at that. We're done. All right. So hi, Journey. You band. Look at you guys looking all beautiful. Look at them. They got all that long hair like, oh, we're so hot, right? But this one was for God's people, man. You know, so hopefully we're going to break those chains, man, because by showing you the word, right, once you have the word, you're going to be free, okay? I'll talk to you guys in the future. Remember, nobody's having more fun than us. Bye.